Look, while everybody's on crypto axis arguing if there's already a bear market, is Bitcoin dead, and the cycle is over, I decided to do something a lot more boring and a lot more dangerous. If you're thinking about buying any altcoins in 2025, 2026, watch this before you hit the buy button. 3 months ago, I set myself a very simple, very stupid sounding goal. Became a millionaire by the time I'm 25, only through investing in crypto and stocks. Right now I'm 20 though. No trading challenge, no 100x leverage, no meme coin casino. Just one clear plan, a fixed amount of money, and several years to execute. In this video, I'm gonna show you the exact macro idea I'm betting on, how much I plan to invest, what kind of 20x I'm realistically hunting for, which type of coins I buy every month, and at the end, step-by-step mini guide so you can copy the strategy even when you're starting with a much smaller budget. And if you stay until the end, I'll also show you the exact type of indicators and entry logics I'm using to catch the next alt season instead of just chasing green candles. And obviously, this is not a financial advice. You can lose your money with this, I can lose my money with this. This is just my plan, my risk, and my money. So if this sounds fair, let's walk through it. So, quick context. Right now I can do the responsible adult thing. For the amount of money I've saved, I can go buy one small bedroom apartment in a cheap resort town somewhere in Western Europe, Bulgaria for example. On paper it looks smart. You protect yourself from inflation, you own a real hard asset, you can rent it out in summer, and if everything goes to hell, at least you have some place to live. Sounds great, but in reality, I can rent the same type of place month to month for like 200, 300 bucks right now. I don't have kids, I'm not tied to one city, I'm basically a traveling crypto nerd with a backpack. So why do I freeze my whole stack into a small flat that gives me maybe 5-7% a year when I genuinely believe we're one big cycle away from asymmetric opportunities in crypto? That's when I realized if I delay the boring apartment and go all in on long-term crypto accumulation plan, and then if it works, buy a bigger place in a better country with the profits. Is it risky? Yes. Is it conservative traditional? No. But at my age, with my lifestyle, it makes more sense to take the shot right now that I'm 40 with kids and with a mortgage. That's the mental framework behind this whole strategy. You might be asking, okay David, why are you building this whole plan around 2026-2030? Why that window? I'm not just pulling these dates out of the thin air. In my previous video, I broke down a 150-year market model from a guy called Samuel Banner, a farmer who mapped out panic and profit-taking years long before Bitcoin, the S&P 500, or even modern finance existed. We took his cycle, put it on top of the S&P 500 chart, and checked every single danger year predicted. 1929 crash, the 1970s drawdowns, the dot-com bubble, 2008, the COVID panic, and in about 12 out of 13 cases it lined up with a major correction or full-on crash. According to the model, one of the next big take profits or crisis windows is around 2026, with the usual plus-minus 1 or 2 year delay. In that same video, we also looked at the long-term structure of the S&P 500, big moves in gold and silver, and the 18-year real estate cycle. Spoiler, all of them are pointing to the same 2026-2030 window as their high-risk period. And the reason for this matters is simple. If this window plays out even remotely similar to previous cycles, it will either destroy unprepared portfolios or create the biggest opportunities of our generation. I'm not gonna repeat the full breakdown here because this video is about what I'm doing with my money, not macro education, so here's the short version. I'm building this million by 25 plan around that idea that we'll get a serious global correction somewhere between 2026 and 2030, and then a new massive cycle after that. If you want the full why with all the charts, history, and probabilities, watch this video until the end and then go back to my previous episode, link in the description, about the coming crisis. Think of that as a part 1, what the reset is likely, and this one is part 2, how I'm trying to use that to become a millionaire. Now let's get to the fun part, how I'm actually investing, what I'm buying, and how I plan to survive and stack through all of this. Let's talk numbers, because otherwise this sounds like a motivational nonsense. Here's my personal target. Over the next few years, I want to invest around $50,000 into crypto, plus later some stocks when the crash actually hits. My goal is to turn that into around $1 million by the time I'm 25. That's basically 20x on the invested capital. Is 20x guaranteed? Obviously no, but in crypto, over a full cycle, 20x on a well-built portfolio is not insane. We've seen Bitcoin doing 10x from cycle bottoms, large caps doing 20 to 30x's, some mid caps doing 50, 100x. I'm not betting on one magic meme coin that will 1000x. I'm betting on something much more boring, a long bear sideways period, continuous accumulation, a real season that will finally crush Bitcoin dominance, and then disciplined profit taking. Quick note on Bitcoin dominance. BTC dominance has been rising pretty much non-stop since late 2020. Since that, we never got the crazy full-blown alt season. Historically, crypto cycles end with a massive alt season blow-off, a moment when Bitcoin dominance collapses and everything else goes vertical. But this time is different. Bitcoin dominance has been rising for almost 2 years straight, and real alt season still hasn't happened. That leaves us with two possibilities. The alt season is still ahead in the cycle, just delayed, or we're entering a new kind of cycle where alts only explode together with Bitcoin in the next full cycle, not this one. Either way, it tells me one thing: I want to be positioned and loaded before the moment finally arrives, whenever it decides to show up. That's the game: 50k over time, 20x target, $1 million. Will I hit that exact number? Probably not, but the structure gives me something concrete to build around. Quick important part: you can't invest if you have no money. Obvious, but people still ignore it. I'm not some whale that cashed out at the exact top. I don't have funds behind me. I'm just a guy with a couple of online projects. Part of that pays my rent, food, travel, just normal life, and the rest I've been slowly stacking inside for years. And now I'm redirecting that into a long-term investment plan. So if you're watching this and you're like on a $600 a month salary, your first goal is not become a crypto millionaire. Your first goal is build a stable cash flow. Create an emergency fund, like 3-12 months of living expenses, then only start putting some money into volatile assets. Nothing in this video replaces income. This is about where I park my profits, not about how I earn them. Now to the main piece: how I actually invest. Everything is built around one thing: my average price. Most beginners are obsessed with finding the bottom or calling the top, but the truth is simple: nobody can do that consistently. Instead, I obsess over where my average entry is. Quick example, simple but important. Let's say you buy Bitcoin. First time at $40,000 for 20k, you get a half of BTC. Second time at $20,000, again for 20k. You get 1 BTC. Now you invested $40,000 total for 1.5 BTC. Here's the part people always get wrong: your average price isn't the midpoint at 30k. It's $40,000 divided by 1.5, it's about 26k. Why? Because you bought a bigger share of your BTC cheaper. Every time the market drops and you buy more, your average price slides lower. I don't try to guess where the bottom is. I literally create my own bottom by averaging down in a controlled way. My rules for buying. Here's how I approach it. I have a fixed monthly amount I can invest. For example, $1,000 or $2,000, you can use your own number. I focus on a basket of coins. I'll show which types in a minute. I buy regularly. Think like once in a month or once every big dump. I prefer to buy when the price is below my current average, so every buy really pulls my average down. I do everything on spot. No leverage, no perps for this strategy. If price pumps above my average and just goes vertical, I simply stop buying and let the bag ride. This is basically DCA, dollar cost averaging, with rules. Equal or similar amounts in dollars through time, and focused on bringing the average down during fear and doing nothing during FOMO. Why this beast trying to be smart? You will never consistently guess where the exact bottom is, when the exact top is, and when the crash starts, tomorrow or the next year. But if you have a multi-year horizon, cash flow, and the discipline to buy when everyone's crying, you don't need to be a genius. You just need to survive, keep buying, and stick to your plan. Also, right here I want to show you something important. I actually already have a list of coins I'm personally planning to accumulate on the bear market. I marked them for myself, and right now on the screen you'll see the list. These are the coins I'll be buying consistently. Some fundamentals blockchain projects, some narrative plays, and yes, even some meme coins, but only very small amounts. I also separate everything clearly into major coins, mid caps, and low caps, just to keep my risk balanced and diversified across different types of projects. And I'm also spreading them across different categories. For example, layer 1 blockchains, infrastructure projects, gaming ecosystem coins, architecture, middleware projects, speculative plays. You'll see that in the table on the screen. Big positions go into solid fundamentals, tiny positions go into the fun stuff. A meme coin can 100x, but a meme coin can also get to 0 in 3 days. So your position size is everything. And the whole challenge, this entire millionaire journey, I'm going to document on both on X and Telegram. There will be posts, updates, all my buys and all my logic, everything. It literally starts right now. After this video, I'll post exactly what I bought today and what my current portfolio looks like. I've already put around 10k into the market because even today many coins are finally reaching prices where it makes sense to start accumulating them for a long period. And everything, all entries, my average prices, my realized profits, will be tracked publicly on my CoinMarketCap portfolio. You can create your own portfolio here too and track your progress the same way. Now about fundamentals. This is really important. In crypto, strong technology does not guarantee strong performance. Aptos, which one I made a video about it, is a perfect example. Amazing tech, amazing team, but the price lagged for a long time. Meanwhile, some meme coins with zero fundamentals pumped 20 to 50x. So here's how I look at it. Fundamentals are a plus. Real usage is also a plus, but nothing guarantees performance. That's why I stay diversified and buy different types of coins, not just one category. One more thing I'll be using during this challenge is the ALTS indicator. Honestly, this is one of the best tools that help me to catch some of my best long-term entries in altcoins, and I want to make it a core part of the strategy. I won't explain it fully here, that needs its own video, but the short version, it's a mathematical model that shows the fair price zone of a coin based on moving averages and long-term structure. When a coin enters that zone, it basically signals that is a statistically discounted price. Sometimes the coin can go a bit lower for sure, but historically many coins enter that zone and later reach their take profit levels. It's not a magic crystal ball, but it's a DCA tool, an entry confirmation tool. It's insanely useful. If you guys want, I can make a full video on how it works and how to use it, because right now I'm using a private version made by a Russian trader who builds strategies based on formulas and math. So yeah, that's the structure, that's the coin list, that's the indicator I'll be using, and the public tracking of everything starts today. Diversification and safety, two more things. I don't keep everything on one exchange. I spread between cold wallets and software wallets. I don't go all in only on crypto. Long term, I also want some exposure to stocks, bonds, real estate, especially after a big crash. For this specific million by 25 mission, crypto is the main high risk, high reward bet. Let's talk about the part that actually breaks most people: patience. I want to share a story, not mine, but it fits perfectly. One of my friends had around 1 million ADA tokens back when it was dirt cheap. He did the math in his head. If ADA ever hits $1, that's $1 million just from this bag. He dreamed about this, visualized it, and then he did what 99% of people do. He sold early. Why? Because the project is dead, the founder is slow, nothing is happening, and it's irrational to expect $1. So he sold for a small, logical profit. Later, ADA did go close to the dollar and way above it, and that potential million just disappeared from his life. And that moment completely changed how I look at markets. And I'm not judging him, I did similar things on a smaller scale. I had coins when I bought low, I set wrong targets, but I sold in panic or took tiny profits because I was scared. And then watched them hit my original targets months later. That's why this time I'm structuring my plan completely differently. I'm mentally ready to hold positions 3 to 7 years if needed, not 3 weeks. Before I buy, I already know rough target zones where I'll take profit, multiple levels, for example sell 25% at X, 25% at Y, 25% at Z. So I don't sell everything on the first green candle, except total loss risk, especially on altcoins. I assume they can go to zero. If they do, it doesn't matter whether I bought at $1 or 80 cents, zero is zero. If markets nuke 50-70%, it hurts, but I stay alive. My positions don't get liquidated. If you combine math, average price, position sizing with psychology, patience, acceptance of risk, suddenly this boring millionaire plan doesn't look that crazy. Alright, now the part I promised at the beginning. Mini guide how to copy this with any budget. You can literally pause the video and screenshot this. Alright, let's break it down super simple. Here's how normal people destroy their portfolios and how to avoid it. Step 1. Define your time plus goal. Pick a realistic horizon. 3 to 7 years, not 3 months. Pick a target that stretches you, but it isn't pure fantasy. Maybe it's not 1 million, maybe it's 100k or 50k. Look at your income. Pay your life, build emergency savings, whatever is left over consistently becomes your DCA amount. This could be 50 bucks, 200, 500, doesn't matter. Consistency matters. Step 3. Decide your risk buckets. For example, 40-60% is BTC ETH, 30% to 40% in big high quality alts, up to 5-10% in small high risk plays. Write this down and follow this, don't improvise every month. Step 4. Set rules for buying. Buy once a month on a set day, or only buy when the price is below your average and or after big dumps. Track your average buy price per coin. This could be a spreadsheet or CoinMarketCap, for example. Stop buying if price is above your average and running parabolic. Step 5. Set profit taking rules. Before you buy, define where roughly you'll take partial profits, how much you'll sell at each level. Decide what percentage of your bag is never sold if you want a long-term stack. And don't change these rules because of X. Use spot only for long-term holdings, don't store everything on one exchange, have at least one cold wallet, accept that some coins will die, some will 2 to 3x, and few might 20-50x. If you follow this 6-step framework with discipline, you'll be way ahead of the average retail investor, even if you're investing $100 a month. The exact coins and exact numbers are less important than the system and your ability to stick to it. So yeah, this is my absolutely non-genius plan to try and become a millionaire by 25. Build cash flow business, stack dry powder, DCA into crypto through fear and boredom, wait for a major global correction and next till season, take profits like an adult, not like an idiot, and then finally buy that apartment just in a nicer place. If you want to see how this plays out in real time, I'll be sharing updates on what I buy and how my portfolio looks. I'll break down specific coins, narrative, risks, and also I'm gonna talk about the mistakes I make along the way, so don't repeat them. In one of the next videos, I'll also go deeper into the exact coins on my list and which ones are already entering what I consider real accumulation zones. So if you don't want to miss that, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell, and stay tuned. So subscribe to Walk Into Crypto, hit like if this gave you any ideas, and drop a comment with your own strategy. Are you going more conservative or more like an idiot or something in between? And again, this video is not a financial advice. It's educational content from my personal plan, and you're fully responsible for your own decisions, your own money, and your own risk. I'm David, this is Walk Into Crypto. See you in the next one. Peace. Cycle 20x on a well-built portfolio. Да что ж такое? Может